the time, the resources to deal with that now. And as a member of the Women's Commission and just as an individual, this is a perspective that is concerning to me and concerning to the Women's Commission. We feel like if these issues are not kept at the forefront of issues of equity, that is, for women or other underrepresented groups, are not kept at the forefront of the administration's mind, then it'll be easier to push them aside. So right now, we have the Women's Commission. The Women's Commission's charge is to look at the status of women, and so what I'm going to be presenting today has to do with women specifically, but I think that you would find, if you looked at other underrepresented groups within the university, you will find similar trends, so we can think about it more broadly. So the first set of slides that I'm going to be presenting has to do with where we find women employed in the university. You can see on this slide that these are the 7 categories of occupational categories that encompass all of the university employees. So I wish I have a mouse here. I was going to say, I wish I had one of those pointers. That we have men overrepresented in executive, administrative, managerial, faculty, technical and paraprofessional, and skilled crafts. And just a little bit in service and maintenance. So this is the 50% line. So if you had the same number of men and women represented, you would see the bar graph coming up to that yellow line. We have the overrepresentation of women and other professional staff and in clerical and secretarial. What's interesting about this, so this is a picture of occupational sex segregation that goes beyond this university. But one thing that's interesting about it is if you look at the 3 highest paid occupational categories within this grouping, you can see that they are that men are overrepresented or women are underrepresented in these categories. If you look at the lowest paid, women are definitely overrepresented. And really interestingly, one change, this is 08-09 year data. Between this year and the following year, 9-10, one thing that happened was that men and women's salaries in this clerical and secretarial, where we have a large majority of women working, were very much on par with men's. When we went to 09-010 and salary changes, actually the 300-some women, let me look at my numbers here so that I tell you correctly, the 398 women in this category are now earning, on average, $400 less than the 25 men in this category. So, and I'm going to talk about salary issues again more a little later, but we can see that even within the category where women make up the largest group, that category as a whole, women are paid less, but also women within that category are paid less than the few men within that category. And we can see that the 3 categories in the middle in terms of salary, we can see, again, the number of men. For example, in skilled crafts, we have a higher average salary than in the occupations where we tend to find women. If we look more specifically at faculty, we can see that across faculty categories, and those of you who are faculty in here know what these categorizations mean, and I'll explain it a little bit for students. There are a number of different types of categories of faculty at the university. The tenure track faculty have the highest pay, job security, best benefits, prestige, potential really lifetime job security in a way that the other groups don't. So group 2 faculty are permanent non-tenure track. These are contracts that are renewed on an annual basis, and it's somewhat easier for the university to let go of these folks. Group 3 people teach 1 class per quarter. They're hired per quarter for maybe $2,000, $3,000, maybe more depending on the discipline that they're in to teach a class. And then group 4 faculty are on 3-year term contracts. So these groups 2 through 4 are the groups of faculty that have really the lowest paid, least benefits. Group 3 faculty don't even have access to things like health benefits, and less prestige and less opportunity for advancement. And where do we see the women in terms of faculty in the university? The women are overrepresented once again in the 2 categories that you could argue have the least sort of security and lower salaries than in the most prestigious, most secure, and most highly paid category. Interestingly, also, if we look at the number of hires that have occurred in the last 2 years, among faculty as a whole, the university has hired approximately 50%, or 50% of hires have been women. But when we look at where these hires fall among these categories, only about less than a third, less than 30% actually, of these hires have been among tenured track women. So the rest is made up by the contingent faculty. And I see Patty Stokes nodding her head, and she's going to talk more about the issues that contingent faculty face in a little bit. So looking closer at the tenure track faculty, we see the picture, just sort of continuing as it has started. We look at all tenure track faculty, women, wow! I'm not used to using Macintosh, so I have no idea what to push right now.